Welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening. Yes, a little bit past 8, well, almost right at 8 p.m. Pretty close to 8 p.m. on the East Coast. You're going, Larry, don't you usually go live at 7? I know. I didn't ask you. Well, yeah, I do, but I couldn't today. So insanely busy day, a crazy day today, but I am still here at least having an AMA because you guys always ask me every time, hey, Larry, what about this? Hey, Larry, what about that? And you want me to do and ask me anything. So here I am, a Sharpe Way AMA, ask me anything. And as always, I wanted to start with something that was kind of bugging me, or maybe even not bugging me, but I do like my I told you so's. Yes, I do. So I do want to do a little bit of I told you so's today if I could. But it's not a crazy one. It's kind of a fun one in a way. If you remember, I was speaking about New York State and its plans, right? How in the world is New York State going to grow? How is New York State going to fill its coffers? And I said the actual plan is Uncle Joe's going to write us a check. That literally is the plan. That's the plan. Uncle Joe writes us a check. Done and done. Right? So what does California do? What's their plan? What's their plan for things like wildfires or like fires in LA? Right? What's their plan? You might go, well, they've got to have no. Plan is Uncle Joe writes us a big check. Well, as I've been saying, Uncle Joe's not there anymore. There's no more Uncle Joe. So now you got to hope Uncle Donnie writes that check. You got to hope Uncle Don writes that check. Well, you might say, Larry, that's not going to happen. Well, it just might. And Newsom wants a big check. Like when Hochul often wants a check, her check's like 20 billion, 50 billion when she's pushing it. Like that's as far as she goes. She goes, Uncle John, can I get like, Uncle Joe, can I get like $50 billion? That's like she does. Newsom said, no, 200. Yeah, $200 billion is what Newsom wants. And you might say, well, there's no way. Oh, no. Newsom has been very timid. Remember how Newsom was like, Trump's the worst guy in the world. Oh my God, the world's going to end if he's elected, blah, blah, blah. Now he's like, well, he's our president now. I mean, all of a sudden Newsom's like, come. Sending notes that are like kind of bad, but kind of not bad, playing that game. And the best part is, met the president on a tarmac, gave him a hug. You my brother now. We besties. That's it. We are now besties. Why? Look, I need a little something from you. I need $200 billion. So you and me besties now. So that's kind of how that works. I think it's funny, but I called it. I mean, the problem is there's no other answer, right? It's not like, okay, if he doesn't give it to us, then we'll do this other thing. Oh, no, that was the plan. And now you're seeing it now. In theory, in a vacuum, I guess, or without this disaster, Newsom should be the attack dog of the Democratic establishment. He should be just all over Trump on everything he does. He was doing that. Remember, he's the guy, if you remember, Newsom's the guy who went and debated DeSantis on the Hannity show. He was the attack dog. Where's the attack dog now? Not anymore. Now, he's like, okay, we're buddies now. He even said things like, well, because Trump, of course, is saying how he should have done what I told him to do. I told him to turn the water on, blah, 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 all that stuff. And so now what is Newsom doing? Newsom's like, well, he just doesn't know. He's not a bad guy. He doesn't know. He doesn't get how it works here in California. That's his response now. No more Trump's a bad guy anymore. Look, I'm not mad at him. I'm not. He's a politician. I knew it was going to happen. I said it was going to happen. It has to happen. He's got no choice. So he said, wait a minute, Larry. If he's got no choice, that means Trump can put whatever strings attached he wants. Not so fast. No, it's not necessarily that Trump can just put whatever strings attached. Can Trump put strings? Yes, absolutely. Yes, but not as many as you might think for a couple of reasons. One, if Trump gets too deep in strings, then he looks partisan, like he doesn't care about all the people who are hurt in California. So he can't go too far. Can he go a little bit? He can, but he can't go too far. There's a level he's gonna have to, decide where it is. Hopefully he has savvy people telling him, okay, no, not that far. You can go here only, that's it. But there's a second piece. As I mentioned, as we've talked about here on the show before, Trump actually does have an issue, and that is it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. So he needs people to feel good about him so he can get past the bad for him to get to his great utopia where his tariffs are going to somehow work. I hope they do. I'm not a fan of tariffs, clearly, but I hope I'm wrong and I hope they work. That's what I'm going to say. I hope they work and I hope I'm wrong. That's what I'm going to say. But not a big fan. I'm hoping that there are more threats. That is my hope, and that they'll make better dealing. I don't know if that's what he's thinking. Almost no one does know what he's thinking, but that is what I'm going to hope. That's true. And so he wants people to feel happy and good about him. And he also wants to show a big, clear dichotomy between him in California and Biden in North Carolina. So he is going to give the full $200 billion, guaranteed. He's going to give the full amount. There'll be some type of give and take. And Newsom, because, okay, as much as I do not like Newsom, and we understand that, I want to be clear, clearly I don't like him. Doesn't matter. He is a savvy politician. He's not going to look bad over this. He will find a way to say, well, I was going to do that anyway, or I'm not really giving in to Trump. That was the right answer. I had some lackey who was stopping me from doing this, or whatever the case may be, right? He's going to find some way of, Newsom's going to find some way of saying he didn't give in to Trump. He'll find some way because he's good. He'll do that. And Democrats were like, yeah, I want to believe that. Therefore I will. Trump will act like he has pummeled Gavin Newsom into the ground, whether he has or not. And Republicans love Trump. Will go, yep, see, he pummeled him to the ground. So this is going to wind up being a win-win, and except win-win for everybody with one big exception. Well, two big exceptions. Piece number one, the American people who is going to go further into debt, and where's Pete Clark when you need him to give me my national debt, because that's what it's all about. And then to the Californians who, in the long run, nothing will change. The answer for the next time will be Uncle Don going to have another check, this time for $250. It was $200, now $250. That's the next thing that's going to happen. So anyway, I wish I had a better answer for you, but I don't. That's what I think is going to happen. I think it's pretty obvious, and we'll be figuring out how that works here in a second. Let me remember something, guys. I know it's late. I got it. But it doesn't mean people can't watch and even watch later. Well, Larry, you're probably asking, how will they know to watch later if they're not watching right now? Well, what you have to do is click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. That is the button to click. Then the man who's always bugging us, Mr. Rhythm, first name Al, middle name Gore, Mr. Rhythm decides, oh, I will send this out to others because you clicked the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. You did it, and now all of a sudden, you'll keep moving. That's how that works. If you really love me, and I know you do because you're still watching, you then have to either share this or repost this someplace. I don't care where you share it. I don't care where you repost it. Somewhere. Yes is the answer, someplace. If you have not subscribed to me on YouTube and or Rumble, why not? Do that now. Click that button. Yes, make sure you do it. And when you do it, make sure you click all notifications. Last I checked that, I check it again. But last week when I checked it, only 14% of the people who subscribed were actually clicked all notifications. You wonder, why don't I get the notifications? Did you click all notifications? If you didn't, that's why. Super chat me if you like. Goes right to me on YouTube, and I prioritize those always. Or rant me on Rumble if you want to. All works. But the thing I love more than anything, what makes me the most happy, what gives me joy? What sparks joy? Membership. It does. Yes, it does. $4.99 per month. Click that join button on YouTube. More of you doing that, less of me working. So yes, Rumble, also same thing. Click that subscribe button during the live. And also $4.99 per month helps me to move forward. I do a lot of work during the day, and that's why I'm often late. So the more of this I do, the less work I have to do. And I don't have a job, as they say. I'm a consultant. So I get clients constantly, shift and move all the time. Very varied schedule, shifting, traveling. As you guys see, sometimes I don't do shows for days. I travel, all those types of things. It is an odd work schedule, but one that I've had for now 21 years. So a long time having it. So anyway, hope that was clear for all of you guys. Let me grab some of these if I could. All right. Let's see here. Joel over on Rumble says, so Peace Logic. Sorry. Thank you for the dollar. Asking, tell me what you think of the nature of reality. Is there a God? Are we in virtual reality? Perhaps all of us are God, and we forgot. Skip question if too personal. I don't think you guys know that I tend to deal with all of them, even personal questions. If I don't want to answer a personal question for some reason, I won't avoid it. I'll just tell you whatever my reason is for not wanting to answer it. I think reality is a whole lot simpler than we make it. I think we want it to be something like a virtual reality or something like that. I think it's insanely simple. I think humans have the one massive advantage over that we know of so far. I mean, with the aliens and stuff, who knows, but we know of so far. I think humans have the one massive advantage, which is we get to decide how valuable our life is. What our creator has given us, whether that's God, or I'm going to, it's insulting, whatever you want to call your creator, it's fine. The one advantage we have over others, Peace would not agree with this, but some would say free will. But here's what I would say, whether you agree with free will or not, we do have the option of deciding what the value of our life is and or will be. Other animals, plants, whatever beings, that we know of, the UFO stuff, they don't get that choice. My dog or cat or the bird or the chicken or whatever doesn't get the decision. We do. And I was talking to my daughter years ago after my mom passed away. And she was very hurt, obviously, it was her grandma. She's like, Dad, how do you handle it knowing that one day you're going to die? And I said, you don't understand something, sweetheart. She said, what? I said, death is a gift. She said, what? I said, death is a gift. It's glorious that we're going to die. She was like, well, I don't understand. I said, if I was never going to die, if I knew that I'd never die, that I would live forever, how horrible a life would that be? I would have no reason to do anything. Why bother? Why bother doing this show tonight? I'll do one in 3 years. Why bother talking to you guys? I'll talk to you guys in like 100 years, whenever. I guess I'm going to lay around. Who cares? I'm going to live forever. I don't care. What's my rush? Why do I care? I would have kids. I wouldn't have had my daughter. Why? I have my daughter when I'm like 4,000. I have my daughter. Maybe when I'm 10,000, I have my first kid. Then 40,000 my second. If I even do have more kids, I don't know. And then maybe I'll just have like 10,000 kids. I don't know. I'm never going to die. Why would I even have kids? Who cares? Why do we want more kids? We're going to live forever? No thanks. So it gives me a reason to get up in the morning. Having that time limit is what makes life valuable. It makes me decide what is valuable. And it makes me decide that each day is important. So it's actually a gift. If I didn't have it, then why would I do anything? Why bother anything? What do I care? I'm not going to die. Ever. No time limit. Doesn't matter. So it actually is a gift. And us knowing that we are mortal, I feel is an amazing thing. I'm not mad about it at all. You can tell I'm not mad. I'm happy that it will happen one day. I understand, for those of you who've heard me speak before, in my own head, I've taken to heart some of the philosophy from the Book of Five Rings by Miyamoto Musashi. And what he speaks about is, he says, you should understand that the code of the warrior, also known as Bushido, Bushi being the warrior and Do being the way. So the code of the warrior is that you should accept that you're already dead. And the only thing that matters is your legacy. So what are you going to do? And sometimes when I coach people, I asked that question. I say, if you died today, what would you want your legacy to be? And people very rarely can answer that question. And if you can't answer that question, you should. What would you like your legacy to be? What would you like it to be? Is it there? You're doing fine. Is it not? You messing up. That's it. And again, you decide that. If you go, I'm good, then you're good. If you go, man, I'm not good, then you're not good. You decide that. So I know I went long, but you asked a very detailed question, P. So I think that's what I think about it. I don't think I do not believe we're in a altered reality or any of that stuff. I actually don't even believe in multiverses. I don't think any of that's true. I mean, maybe it is. And my point is, even if it is, so it doesn't change how I'm going to act. It doesn't change what I'm going to do. It doesn't change the person that I am. It's not going to change how I want to see the world. I want the world to change for me. Not going to change anything. So even if I'm wrong and there are multiverses and blah, 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 or whatever, doesn't change how I'm going to act either way. So, but I don't think there is. I think our life is actually very simple, and we have the option of making it special or not. And you might go, but Larry, people tell us all the time, but Larry, some people, they're born a certain way. Yes, true. The saying that I will never forget: in nature, there is no good or evil, only consequences. Well, I would say in life, often true. You see, I very rarely call things evil or good. It's very rare that I do that. Most things just respond to their environments, and bad environments give me bad outcomes. And there are some bad people, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying it's rare that I say that. Most people aren't good or evil. Most people are just people reacting. Well, some people have better advantages. True. It's true. So you should be looking for what you want to achieve based upon the hand you were dealt. That's it. And I look at myself already pretty good. Why? Because I'm so damn good looking? No, because I didn't do that. I was born hot, so I'm just hot. But that's fine. That's not what I'm impressed by. And you should be either. I'm happy that I got where I got because of where I started. That's it. If I started on third base, I better get home. Most of us don't start on third base. We start in the dugout. We start on home base. Some of us start on first base. Most of us don't start on third base, right? So if I start in the dugout and I get to second base, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. I got a double. That's not bad. I'm good with that. I was in the dugout and I got to second base. Okay, that's not bad. That's how I look at myself. Literally, you guys, if you know my background, I'm an adopted kid who lost my father as a kid, grew up in the South Bronx. I'm good. I mean, I got more to do. I'm not done, but I'm just saying I'm doing pretty good. So maybe one day I'll be even better. We'll see. So I hope that was true. I hope that was clear. Not true. It was true. I hope that was clear. So I will finish up. P says, my legacy, I have more to do, but I know I'm a good person that cares, but I'm not done enough. Oh, there we go. Then you have more to do. And not because I deem it so, Peace, because you deem it so. He says, I'm hot. No words. It's true, I am. Anyway, besides the point. But again, just because if you happen to be hot because you're born good looking, then be proud of. Be happy you are. If you're attractive, I'm glad if you are, but that's not to be proud of. Now, have you maintained your hotness over the years? Okay, that's good for you if you've done that. And if you're not so hot, so what? Can you look as good as you can look compared to whatever hotness you were born with? Oh, good. Any case, if you even care about hotness, I mean, again, you judge this. If you don't care about hotness, then it's irrelevant, right? If you do, then it's relevant. Long one piece, but anyway, I hope I answered your question. Let me walk down this road a couple more if I could. Phil says, translation, President Donald Trump is likely to expand vast sums of money, alleviate physical challenges on the occidental coast of America. Ooh, that sounds amazing. But of course, he says what it really means is California might be in a drought, but Trump about to make it rain up in here. You're right. You're not wrong. He is. He is going to give the money. I mean, he's just going to. I can't imagine him not. So I can't imagine him not. Lunuta, thank you for the $5, my friend. Human beings that are in tune with their resonance tend to be loners as we seek harmony with others. Larry, you are not alone, nor any of us. Yes. This is an issue, right? I want to modify what you said. We tend to be loners, true, but we still tend to seek connection. Now, the internet has made that both good and bad, but we do seek connection. Most people who are like that, lunatic, you're right, they like small groups of people who they can trust. So their inner circle could mainly be 4 or 5 people, 2 people, 3 people, a very small inner circle, and they have many acquaintances. That's often true. So yeah, again, as I mentioned before, there's a difference between happiness and pleasure, right? Happiness is ongoing with others. You often don't require other things. You require other people or events to maintain your happiness. Pleasure is a quick fix, a quick hit. Often you require something else, a substance, or maybe even action, activity. You require that to achieve the pleasure, right? Most people do that. Generally speaking, the happier you are, the less you seek pleasure because you're happy and you gain pleasure throughout your day. The less happy you are, the more you seek pleasure. And that's when you wind up having people who get addicted personalities. Well, become addicted. We all have addicted personalities. It's hardwired. So we become more addicted to things, either again, subjects, activities, whatever the case may be. So the happier you are, the less you're out seeking pleasure, to your point. And the more you're just okay with your circle of people who are keeping you satisfied and happy. The less happy you are, the more you're always trying to get the hit, always trying to find things. So yes, Lunatic goes on to say, a group may be a squad, a platoon, or a fire team. Correct. Correct. You went in the wrong order, though. For those who don't know, he knows this. But for those who don't know, fire team is, generally speaking, the smallest, 3 to 4 people, depending upon the military unit you're talking about. And then 3 to 4 fire teams makes a squad. 3 to 4 squads makes a platoon. So, and also depends upon what service, what country you're in, but that's a good general rule. Sometimes you find, depending upon the group, and it's changed a lot in Ukraine, you are finding larger fire teams. So a fire team of, say, 5, when it used to be 3 or 4, and only 2 of them per squad. So a small squad of only 10. One of the reasons for that is a lot of the older vehicles they're using will only carry 6 soldiers total. So you got a fire team and a fire team leader. That's it. And that's all you can carry. So they've been breaking their squads and platoons up based upon every single unit trying to become a mechanized unit. So anyway, just some interesting stuff there. And when it comes to smaller units, they're breaking up teams into 2. So there's some fire teams now, they break up into 2. So 2 people become a fire team. That was crazy to me. That was like a crew. But anyway, Luther, thank you for that. I appreciate it. So I will keep moving down this road. All righty. You guys are going back and forth. I will leave you guys alone in your back and forth, if that's okay. And I'll move on. Liberty Lady says, hey, Sharpies, if you haven't already followed Larry on his Rumble, please do so, even if you watch here. That will be great. For those of you who have a Rumble account, please head over to Rumble. I need 6 more people to make 300. So if you have a Rumble account, but you don't like to watch on Rumble, that's okay. Head on over there. Click that button so you can join. I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yes. Peace goes on to say, RFK mission to make hot. Look, I have openly called RFK Jr. a stud on TV. I mean, he is. It's just true, right? I hope when I'm in my 70s, I'm in as good a shape as him. I hope I am. That would be amazing. So, yes, you're not wrong, Peace. You're not wrong. So, yeah, absolutely not. By the way, I'm also on Twitch. So if you are on Twitch and you like Twitch, you can watch me on Twitch if you want to. So if you want to. Pinkerbella's here, and so is Kim. Guys, I'm so happy you're here. That's awesome. Vivek asked a question. Should FEMA be ended? Should there be no federal aid? How do you get communities to not rely on the federal government and more on local and state governments? The question is a good one. And it's a should now or should in theory. Theoretically, and again, this is theoretically, federal aid is inefficient and shouldn't be a thing. Theoretically. In practice, it still must, to your other point. People get in trouble. People, get hit by hurricanes and fires. They need help. And local communities simply cannot assist them. Why? To your point, we haven't even worked on this at all. It's not a thing. We don't have a way of doing it. It's not a thing. We've completely forgotten how it works, right? And you might go, but Larry, can it ever work? Of course it can. Again, I go back to the concept. Can it work? Yes. Can it work now? No. But the concept of the Amish have a horrible thing. A bunch of houses go on fire. They'll get together and rebuild the houses. It can be done. But America isn't anywhere near the Amish. We're just not that group of people, right? I'm not saying we should. But until we have a way of having communities set this up, we kind of have to have a FEMA. And again, theoretically, I can't stand it. I hate the idea of it, but I'm being realistic. We don't want Americans to simply be screwed because a hurricane came through, right? It's not the right answer for us. But should we fix it? Yes. How do we do that? It's a slow way. And one of the ways to do it, and this has to be a change in the way Americans think, Vivek. It is not a simple thing at all. What we have to work on is the idea of communities having their own form of insurance. Now, what can insurance be? It could be a mutual aid fund, right? It could be any of those things. How do you start that? Well, it's not going to happen tomorrow. I wish it would. But can you start it tomorrow? Yes. One of the things you can do is you can have a law, which I talked about when I ran for governor of New York, which was, say for every person who has to write a check to the state every year, right? You owe them taxes, whatever your taxes are. You can choose, if you want to take 500 of those dollars. I'm sorry, 250 of those dollars, and give it to a non-for-profit in the state. Up to you if you want to. So it's voluntary. If you're happy with your taxes, give money to the government. If you're not happy, you can give it to somebody else if you want to. Not just that. You can, if you give it to, if it's local, your county, it doubles to 500. So I got to write a check to the government at the end of the year, whatever, for $1,200. Okay, I pay the government. Now, if I want to, I can give the government $700 and $500 to a charity, a local charity, $250 to a charity, not my county. Why would that be important, Vivek? Because then local people can start saying, you know, these potholes need to be fixed, and we are not fixing these potholes. We're just not doing it. We got to fix them. Hey, I'm going to fix them, guys. I'm going to start a not-for-profit that fix the potholes. All you guys in this county, give me your $500, and I'll fix all the potholes. Now you might go, what? Yes, but now worry about the workers who are fixing potholes. They'll fix other potholes. Clearly, they don't have enough. They'll fix the other potholes. Great, the entire state. There's going to be a state group of people who fix potholes. They'll fix the other potholes. These guys can work on this one. What if they suck, Larry? What if they're bad at it? You don't give any money next year, do you? They don't get any money. What happens if your current pothole fixers don't do it? They get more money. In this one, they would not get any money, so they have to actually do the job. Now, it could be potholes. It could be this could be an aid station for people who are addicts. It could be whatever your community decides. Again, this is not the perfect plan. It's a beginning. It starts, and people start saying, wait a minute, could this work locally? Yes, it can. Can it work statewide? Yes, it can. It is a long process, but this is how you begin to rebuild communities. I know that was long, but I hope it helped. So Joel over on Rumble says, AMA for Larry, why do haters scream that libertarians want open borders? I like your many Ellis Island idea to libertarians want open borders, because many libertarians do want open borders. It's true. Many do. Not all do, clearly, but many libertarians do want open borders. It's true. Many do. That's why. And in the purest form of libertarianism, which again, I love the theory of this. I do. I want to be clear. I love the theory of the open borders concept. It sounds amazing. I would love it. We could all hold hands and, sing Kumbaya and cross the borders. That'd be amazing. I love the concept of it. It's just not real now. The world isn't there. Can we move towards that? I think we should. There's no example of that. That's not true. Scotland and England and Wales are 3 separate countries. That's true. And they basically have open borders. Why? Because they have enough of a history together, enough of a culture together, enough of a language together to where they can do that. So I think open borders is possible, but generally speaking, smaller areas over time, it would take a long time for it to happen. But could it happen? Sure. I think it's possible, which is not there now. That's the issue. Right now, we have to have a situation. By the way, I do not think building walls is the answer. I think you just make it to where people who want to come to your country need to be vetted. That's the issue. And they go to states that want them, and states that don't take them. So I hope I answered your question at least. So yes, that is why, because you can go online. There are many libertarians who believe in open borders, lots of them. I'm not one of them. Again, I want to be clear. That's not true. I am one of them in theory. I'm going to be very clear. I would love to have a completely voluntary society. That would be amazing. I'm just being realistic. We are nowhere near there, which means that doesn't mean we shouldn't move towards it. We should be striving towards that world to where borders don't matter. We should be striving towards that. We should be striving towards a world where there is no taxation. We should be striving towards a world to where communities help each other. I think that will be an amazing world to live in. Again, not where we are now, but we should move towards it. And I think as much as possible. So theoretically, I am on board. Theoretically, in practice, I just don't think we can. Hope that makes sense. I don't mean to be dodging at all. So anyway, all righty. I'm looking out here on Instagram, and they're asking about the nominee for the Dems is not going to be Newsom. It's going to be someone that we wouldn't expect, like an Obama out of nowhere. Correct, but not Obama. Yes, Obama, but I call him Clinton 3.0. Obama was Clinton 2.0, and there'll be a Clinton 3.0. I think you are correct. I do not think it's Newsom. Now, Newsom is still a very savvy politician. So he will either have some say or be some part of whatever that group of people is. Maybe he'll be a VP pick because he's a great attack dog. I mean, have you seen Newsom on the attack? Oh, great attack dog. So maybe he'll be the VP, or maybe he'll be whatever, secretary of blah, 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 whatever the thing is. So I think he'll be part of it. But I agree with you, Sawyer. I do not think he will be the nominee. I'm with you on that 100%. I think he will not be the nominee. So, all righty. Dave says the problem is California has to call the EPA in Washington, D.C. if they want to do a controlled, is that a prescribed burn? That's even if California EPA says yes. Yeah, we have a problem here in New York. It's not called the California EPA. It's called the DEC here in New York. Yeah, the Department of Environmental Conservation. DEC, I forgot that thing's what it stands for. This is what we have here in New York State. Same issue. The problem is most of these places, and this goes back to what Vivek, with Vivek. The problem is our culture is all of these bureaucracies. There we go. So all these bureaucracies, their goal or their answer is to say no. They're responsible only if something goes wrong, not if something goes right. There's no one to say yes. So their missions have to be changed, right? The mission is something like to make the world great or to protect this, protect that. Well, if that's your mission and something goes wrong, well, you fail. The mission should be to ensure we do build, to ensure we do grow in the best way possible. That's the key, right? We do grow in the best way possible. Now you're responsible for the yes. You're just responsible for the how. So if it doesn't get built, I go to you, Dave. If I make you the head, right, the director of the EPA of California, and you don't build the super cool highway or the what's that supersonic train or whatever it's supposed to be built, you don't build it. I go, what happened, Dave? You didn't build it. You go, well, it didn't fit. Blah blah blah. Is that your mission? What do you mean? Your mission is to get it built just the best way possible. Oh no, I just said no to everything. You're fired because that's not your job. But right now, Dave, that is your job. Your job is to make sure that nothing happens. So when I go, why didn't it get built? You go, they didn't pass the rules. I go, okay, good job, Dave. You stopped it. Okay. So you're doing what you're supposed to do. Goes right back to my idea of incentives. But if my incentive is you are to build, get it built, man. What are you doing? Then you got to go, okay, what's the safest, best way to get it built? Not how do I stop them from building because something goes wrong, I'm in trouble. No, you're in trouble if it doesn't get built. And that mindset is gone. And again, I hate to do it, but I do always try to give credit where credit was due. De Blasio, the past mayor of New York, who was a terrible mayor, did one thing right. And I'm going to give him credit for it. When it came to Department of Buildings, he made a rule that if you apply and you are not told no with your reason within 45 days, it's a yes. Now you might go, what? That's not a yes. That's the best we're going to get, Dave. Best we're going to get. So if you don't get told no with your reason, it's a yes. I'll take it. So we need more of that, and that begins to change the culture. That now your job isn't just to protect, your job is to get it built, but the best way possible. That's a whole different way of making that happen. I hope that was clear, at least. That makes sense. So yeah, all righty. Let me keep going down this road if I could. All righty. Phil says, the Donald better make him dance for those dollar bills. He'll get a win out of it, right? He will get a win out of it. DFO Adirondack. Oh, yes, up there. Did YouTube change its layout? Or did my settings get jacked up? I had to search to find this Sharpe Way Live. Here's what they do. What they do is YouTube decides that some people are bots because whatever, you're a bot. I deem it so. And then unsubscribes you, unnotifies you, does all the things. So yeah, that's the issue, right? So it probably happened. That would be my assumption that it actually happened. So yes. IC says, good evening, Larry and chat. Sorry for my absence. My brother passed last week. Oh my God. 51, retired, decorated Navy vet. I am sorry to hear that. 51, far too young. I don't know. I will. She goes on to say, Philip, his life was filled with service to others, volunteer firefighting, volunteer rescue squad, 20 years in the Navy, took in a troubled teen family. Wow. Do you feel comfortable letting us know what happened? If you don't, I understand. But I'm interested in, that's very young. It feels like that was an accident. Obviously, I have no insight into that, but it feels like that's an accident. 51 seems very young. Now, I do know that sometimes people who are in those fields, very often, I don't know your brother, but very often, they sacrifice their own health for others. But this feels like an accident to me. So I see. Oh, yep, it was an accident. Yep. He owned a trucking company, was driving, had a medical emergency, crashed. Oh, no. Yeah. 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 I'm sorry to hear that. That's terrible. That's terrible. There is, I always say this, when our loved ones have to pass, and we always lose loved ones, if their passing takes a lot of time, it's better for us, worse for them. We get to say goodbye, we get to go through issues and have closure, but they suffer if their death is a long death. My father, 2 years to die, my mom, 2 years to die, long deaths. If they die quickly, it's better for them because they don't have the same pain, but it's worse for us because we didn't say that thing we wanted to say. We didn't do that thing we wanted to do. We just, was one more thing I should have done or said or been or whatever. I feel that. I definitely feel that. So I get it. I'm sorry for your loss, IC. I hope that you're able to have some closure for that. And I hope that as you have more memories of him, that they're far more good ones than negative ones. So I'm sorry about that. Thank you for sharing that with us, though, because a lot of people, they lose people and they feel it too, right? So you doing that allows us to feel also. We also we also feel human, and we see how our pain is everyone else's. So thank you for that. All righty. Let's see here. Let me grab a couple more of these if I could. All right. Peace says, oh, talking to Kim. All right. Let me get past what you're talking to Kim, not to me. All righty. Mike says, sounds like we need way less through other agencies. Correct. Right. The problem, look, I understand why government wants through other agencies. If I was government, I'd want more of them too. It makes total sense, right? The problem is, it doesn't help us. It just helps them. So Lunatic says, thank you for $2. Check out HR 25 of 2025 Rep Georgia Repub. I think you mean the House of Representatives of Georgia, Republican? I think you mean that? Yeah. Why won't you tell us what it is? Why are you keeping us in like suspense or something? Just like, let us know what it is. I gotta look it up now. All right, I'll look it up. You make me do work? I see how y'all don't take. All right, hold on. Let me look up. Because you're making me do work, man. All right, it's gonna pop up. Where is it? I don't see it. No. Oh, gotta spell stuff correctly. I didn't see. I'm doing it sideways and my keyboard isn't in front of me. So sorry. My keyboard is not in front of me. All right. HR 1025. All right, I can't. Some please find it for me. I'm going to spend an hour here figuring this out, and I'm clearly I couldn't find it, or I don't get it, or maybe he's just teasing me and making me work. Thanks, appreciate it. See, I see how you are, making me work for now. I see how you are. Let me take like dance. You're making me dance now. Those are the opposite. Think I'm Newsom and you Trump now? That's what you think? You're kind of right. You're kind of right, lunatic. You're kind of right. It's kind of true. Absolutely. Pickerbell says, immortality is a punishment. Agreed. And has been in the past. You're right. Immortality, Pickerbell, has been a punishment in our literature for literally centuries. Yes. Everyone who's punished is punished forever. Right? Forever. So, Phil with the win. Phil says, HR 25 to promote freedom, fairness, and economic opportunity by repealing the income tax and other taxes, abolishing the Internal Revenue Service, and enacting a national sales tax to be administered primarily by the states. Lunatic, you are forgiven. That is very nice. Lunatic, you are forgiven. Okay, I take it back. I take back what I said. It's fine. I'll be your Newsom. For that, that's good. And look, if people are talking about ending the income tax, I'm happy to have the conversations. And Phil, thank you for the win. Absolutely. I appreciate that. There we go. That's what it is. That is HR 25, 119th Congress, 2025, 2026. Here we go. Back to Pinkerbell. I'll get back to this in a second. Let me finish Pinkerbell's piece, right? And I think one of the most popular ones recently was, within like the last 50 years, was the movie Highlander. If anyone happened to see that movie, Highlander, 80s movie. And in that movie, the people are immortals. And one of the things that was terrible about the immortals is they had to outlive all the people they loved. So you watched everyone you loved die because you kept living and they all got old and died. And that was your punishment. And eventually he's like, I don't want to have relationships anymore because I just watched them all die. And I remember there was a Doctor Who episode, maybe 10 years ago or so, I don't remember how long ago it was, where one of the characters in the Doctor Who universe was immortal. And so she lived for so long that as Doctor Who goes through time, the second time Doctor Who meets her, she's forgotten him. You would think, how can you forget the main character, Doctor Who? He's the main character. You can't forget that guy. She forgot him. Why? Brain can't remember 300 years or whatever because she just lived forever. So yes, immortality is a punishment. I agree. Lunatic says, oh yeah, you remember that. Yes. Who wants to be immortal? Even Highlander, technically you would fight for an end. Correct. Yes. It is a punishment. Accurate statement. Yes. So there we go. Peace over on Rumble. Thank you for the $1. My cousin passed away yesterday. He was a good soul. May he rest in peace. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, it's tough when we lose people. It is. It's tough when we lose them. Thank you for sharing that piece. I appreciate that. I do appreciate it. So, all righty. Phil being nice. Thank you. Phil, tonight's your night, brother. Phil says, he sounds like a great man. I hope people follow his example and help his memory live on. That's the key, right? To be forward, I don't know if you were here. We talked about the idea of legacy, right? And I think your brother is going to have that legacy, right? He left something that people are going to remember, think about, hopefully aspire to, right? I hope we all get to have that. Many of us are not going to have people are not going to people aspire to do what we do, right? Particularly if we pass early, aren't able to achieve what we want to achieve. But I think your brother will have that, which again, it's a if you have to go, and we all have to go, it's a great way. It's a great way of leaving, if that makes any sense. So yes. Phil says the most attractive person believe they're ugly and work harder. Does that mean I'm ugly? Maybe I'm ugly. I try working hard. Maybe. Actually, I'm teasing because I don't actually care. But that's kind of, yeah, absolutely. Kim says, I'm a loner and connect with the Sharpe way. As we all should. Correct. Speaking of that, click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo, like. Do that, please. It does matter. Yes. Matt says, sounds like me. I used to be the life of the party, an extrovert. And now I very much enjoy being, I very much enjoy being alone with acquaintances. I think people do change, Matt. I think you're right. It doesn't mean they are no longer extroverts or introverts, but I think we change what we desire. You might still be very extroverted, just in smaller groups, if that makes any sense, right? If you're introverted whether you're in a large group or a small group, either way. If you're extroverted, you can still be extroverted, but now you're just more animated with 3 people or 2 than you would be with, say, 40 or 50. So, yeah, I think that's a piece right there. So, yeah. All right. Lindsay says did it on purpose. Yeah, I know you did. I know you did. It's all good. Yes. All righty. Let me grab a couple more of these if I can. All right. Phil says, I spent a week on the Gulf Coast after Katrina. Locals said volunteers did 90% of the work. FEMA ended up just holding away debris. Right? Look, if often I say, and this may go to what this may help with Vivek. People will ask you things like, Larry, shouldn't we just get rid of this, get rid of that? I often say we don't have to get rid of it. We have to make sure it has no teeth. So it can't give out money or give out fines or punish. But can it be a central repository for information? I think government can be that as a stepping stone. So if FEMA wind up being, say, a centralized place like the 911 of the federal government type thing, right? Where it doesn't actually send the ambulance, theoretically, in this case for Katrina, but it could help facilitate it. Like, where do we have to go for the ambulance? Call FEMA, they'll know. How many people are going to get there? Call FEMA, they'll know. Do we have people here or here? Call FEMA, they'll know. That may be a very good spot for government to take a place as it gets phased out, if that makes any sense, right? So that we still, because Americans still like the idea of calling a central place. Like I call 911 or I do my, right? They still like that concept. So if FEMA would become more like that, but just obvious, Phil, in other words, FEMA doesn't do the work. FEMA just hauls with the trash. Okay, that's fine. And it's a central repository. If I have trash, I call FEMA. Okay, good. They come get it. I think it's totally fine. That is a great way of making a move towards what Vivek was talking about, to where local volunteers can do more of the work because they know better. And FEMA becomes the center, like, wait a minute, what's the weather going to be, right? What should I be wearing? What's protocol? I don't know. I'm a volunteer. Call FEMA. They have the protocol listed. They have all the things required, right? Whatever. I think that can be an answer. So, yeah, well, that makes sense. All righty. Kim goes on to say, stop building homes 10 feet below sea level on sides of piles of mud and other places high prone to disasters. I think that's going to happen. What I mean by that, what's going to wind up happening is the insurance companies are just going to stop giving you insurance. So I think by default, that's going to happen. The problem is government stepping in and insuring anyway is what makes this keep happening. But eventually, government can't do this anymore, right? When the private sector stops it, it's usually because it's unsustainable. That's why they stop it. But government doesn't care about sustainability because Uncle Joe or Uncle Don is going to write me a check anyway. So why do I care? But once it becomes unsustainable, even government goes, maybe I shouldn't be doing this anymore. So eventually they won't do it. Now here's the problem. You might go, well, that's okay, because then, they'll just do it without insurance. No, they won't, because then they can't get a mortgage. So unless you can afford to buy your own land with no insurance, and you can afford to build your own land without a mortgage, and you can afford to have it without insurance, you're not going to have it. And if you can, if you, I hope you're that wealthy, Kim. I don't know if you're that wealthy. I hope you are. And I hope you could just buy land and not care because you have so much money. And you can just build on mud because you don't care. You have so much money. And if the flood comes by and takes it out, well, you got tons of cash. You build a new one. You build a new one. You don't care. I hope you're that rich. That's amazing. Good for you if you are. But most people aren't that wealthy, and they can't just decide to rebuild houses because they get blown away every other year. But then only that person or group of people can buy a house. And you know what? If you want to spend your money on houses that get washed away every couple of years, good on you. Your money, enjoy. So I think that's going to wind up happening anyway. Because at one point, the insurance company say, I'm not going to do it. The mortgagers go, I'm not going to mortgage you. And the government goes, I'm going to need money. At one point. I hope that point soon. So that should solve itself. So Phil says Redeemer Church in Utica started a nonprofit grocery store to fight food deserts. And they support the 5 cities upstate. And whatever profits they have, they reinvest into new stores and job training. This is my exact point, Phil. My exact point. Yes, this is what should be happening again and again and again, right? And the more you find people locally involved, the more they care. My worry always is that now in comes guy who goes, ooh, this Redeemer grocery store can make me some cash. Let me write the church a nice big check and I'll buy these stores. Now, not that I'm against somebody doing, I mean, it's the free market, not saying there should be a law against it. But here's the issue. If I go in and I go, hi, I'm Mr. Venture Capitalist. Hey, church, you know what? Why have these stores? I'll write you a check for $5 million right now, and you can redo your entire church. And the church people go, $5 million right now. Will you get rid of the stores? I will not get rid of the stores at all. Those stores will still exist. In fact, I'll keep your name on it if you want. We would love that. Awesome. $5 million, keep it. I turn them into whatever the next Walmart is or whatever, right? I turn into something else. That is my concern, obviously, right? Now, the problem is, generally speaking, the more local the people are, the less chance that happens. Can it still happen? Of course. But the less chance that will happen, right? And that's the goal. Because if it's servicing local people, you can't retain a customer base, right? And the church just do something else on its own again. That would be the hope if it's local. If the people aren't local, they just take the money and run. Well, and it happens, right? You can't guarantee it won't happen. But I'm saying as I always say, life is 2 things. Life is habits and odds. You try to make the odds the best you possibly can. I think that's what you have to do. So yes. Lunatic says, energy is never lost, just transferred. True. Phil, yes, Department of Environmental Conservation. That's what it is in New York State. Thank you. I don't remember which one it was. So that is correct. Yes. All righty. Andrew says, is transhumanism just a misguided fad? No, it is not. Andrew, I think the future of humanity, sadly, is we will evolve ourselves out of humanity. That is our eventual future. Is that future tomorrow? Is that future 100 years from now? I don't know when that is. But we will eventually evolve ourselves out of humanity. What do I mean by that? I mean the being that we will become will not be recognized as Homo sapien. In fact, some people now call it, if I remember right, Homo Deus. Homo Deus is like the man God, the deity, right? We're gonna be so powerful that we become like almost God. So it's no longer Homo sapien. The new thing will be Homo Deus, and that will be transhumanism. A point to where we will voluntarily Borg ourselves, right? The Borg will not assimilate us. We will happily Borg ourselves. What I mean by that, those who don't know Star Trek, the Borg is where everyone's part of one collective, right? But the Borg is a bad guy in the Star Trek universe, and the Borg goes out to assimilate. If you're a Doctor Who fan, similar to Cybermen. Cybermen are the Borg are a knockoff of Cybermen, right? The Cybermen are the same concept. Cybermen absorb and assimilate other cultures and turn them into Cybermen. So that would be the concept. So what will eventually happen? Why will this happen? Well, number one, because people are less and less happy. It's everywhere. We aren't getting together. We aren't having fun. We aren't having relationships. We aren't happy. And when people aren't happy, they look to be happy. They seek pleasure. What gives you pleasure? Substances. Well, if I could get something implanted in my brain that'll keep pumping my substance, why wouldn't I? Right? Why wouldn't I? So I think people are going to start doing that more and more. Not just that, you're seeing AI basically fool us into believing that we have friends or lovers or girlfriends or boyfriends because we can't get girlfriends and boyfriends ourselves. We're struggling as a people. We're struggling for that. I think that's what's happening. And then you can find something else, which is as robotics become better and better and better. Now I broke my leg, robotic leg. Now I broke my arm, robotic arm. Now my liver's gone, genetically grown liver, whatever. So eventually our outer casing will simply be mechanical, connected to the Borg. That means I don't have to think. All I have to do is think. That's all I have to do is think. I don't have to know anything because I'm connected to the internet. So now I know everything that the common web knows. I know because I can just access it from my brain. So that I've outsourced my brain at that point. So I outsource my brain. I outsource my body. I'm part of the Borg. I have as many girlfriends or boyfriends as I want. Why? They're all virtual anyway. Doesn't matter. In fact, I probably won't have fake legs. Why would I require legs? I don't need legs. Who needs legs? Why do I need legs? Everything's in my head. I'm living in a virtual world. I will become the virtual reality that the piece is talking about. We're going to become that. That eventually is our future, which is sad. I don't know when it is. Is that 100 years, 200 years? I don't know, but eventually it'll be that. And the second piece will probably happen is we will also evolve because some of us will be on the planet. Some of us might be on Mars or whatever. Or what's the other thing we're supposed to do is go to, is it Io or Europa? One of the moons of Jupiter, right? Someone I'm sure will correct me. I think it's moons of Jupiter. So I think it's one of the moons. I think it's Io. No, I think it's Europa. It might be in Europa, maybe. Well, those people might not be able to get brain in a box because they haven't been able to come up with the things to do that yet, or maybe they don't want to. They're the old pioneers who we don't want that. We're going to be pure humans, and they go over to Europa and they become the pure humans, and then the people left here become the brain in the box humans, Homo Deus, Homo sapien, and become different. So if you ever seen the, I think it is Amazon Prime series, might be Netflix, but I think it's Amazon Prime series, The Expanse. They talk about how humans on Mars actually call themselves Martians. So it's like they have become a separate, in their own mind, group of humans. They call themselves Martians now. And they are different because they're different type of environment, different bone structure now. So that's but they actually evolve differently. So I think that will happen. So I don't think it's a misguided fad. I think it is the future for a huge chunk of humans. Most of those humans will be very wealthy first, which is why so many of the wealthy broligarchs are so happy about UBI. They are not unhappy about Ready Player One happening in reality. They are not unhappy about that. So, well, that was pretty dark, wasn't it? Well, Andrew, you asked. This is AMA. I will answer it. So you asked. I will tell you. So there we go. There we go. So, all righty. Let me grab some of these, not rants. Rants will be on Rumble. This is instead on, if I can go, these are instead super chats. All righty. Peace, thank you for the $5. Come over to Rumble. Highlighted questions are cheap. True. Truth is live. We answer questions for no dollars. Yes. YT made me edit. Of course. What? Yes, because the YouTube overlords decide to do whatever you want. So whatever they want. Correct. And by the way, before I get there, some of you have been telling me, hey, Larry, I put it in the chat and you erased my message. Be very clear. I never erase messages unless, it's an exception, unless it is like some spam message saying, go over here and do this thing over here. Some of those I'll erase. Some of them I don't. But those are the only ones. You can say whatever. I will not erase it. YouTube will erase it because they feel like it. So if you're writing something you think I might be mad at, you've seen the people insult me publicly, and I post it here. I'm not mad at your insult. So I'm not going to not post it because you insulted me. That's not going to happen. Now, YouTube might, because you probably used a bad word, because YouTube treats you like you are a child. So you must speak like a baby or they punish you. So you use the evil word Rumble piece. So YouTube overlord said, that's like an adult. You can't do that. We must treat you like a baby. And that's why that happened. So yes. Ryan, thank you for $2. Allowing you to try St. Louis style pizza. All right. I have a bunch I have to try. The problem is, you guys know, I'm on keto. So, and I've been keto lifestyle 14 years now, almost 15. This fall makes 15. No, this summer. This summer makes 15 years. So it is rare that I eat carbs, but I will. I will try to do that. Yes, I will try to do that. Yes. Lunatic Libertarian says, thank you for $2. Ever seen Repo Men? Whitaker Law Star Fake Organs. Why do I feel like I have? Is that a 90s one? 2000s? I'm going to check it out. Hold on, write it down. I forget. Hold on. Let's write this down. Repo Man. All right. If I'm crazy busy this weekend, but if I get a shot, maybe I'll see if I can watch it. So thank you for that. All righty. Morgan, of course, says there can only be one. It's true. There can only be one. It's true. By the way, that is from, obviously, for those of you who know, that is from, we just talked about it. The Highlander. Thank you, Highlander. There we go. Yes. All righty. Pickabell says, I got extorted by my tax filing software this morning, and I'm still mad about it. Aren't we all? I got to do my taxes, too. I don't want to, but I need to. I pay a lot of taxes, which sucks. I live in New York City, so I pay like the city tax and the state tax and the tax and the yes, I get all of the things. Yes. So, Phil says, if you were able to live in an immortal town with 1,000 other immortals, is that for me? It wouldn't change. I mean, why would you? I mean, think about it, Phil. If we're all immortal, we're not going to die. What's the reason to go do things? Because you're bored, I guess. I mean, if you look at it, if you look at every single mythology, and when there are lots of gods that are immortal, and the only way they can possibly die is through combat. That's the only way they can die is through combat. If they can die even that way, but that'd be the only way they could die. And they're amazing at combat. What are they always? They're always petty. They're always lazy, right? That's how we've been writing immortals forever, except for Pickabell's piece, right? Humans who are cursed with immortality are being punished. But unless you're being cursed with immortality, you're lazy and petty and fickle. I don't think so. Yeah. Pickabell said the same thing. I don't know that I'd want to live near 1,000 forever. Imagine having an annoying neighbor for eternity. Yeah. I'd have to kill him. See that? That's the problem. And then what happens if then once they I kill him, they put me in jail for life. Oh, I'm in jail forever. I don't die. Yeah. I don't die. Yes. Absolutely. So, all righty. Dave says Twilight Zone had an immoral episode. They've had a couple of them. Yes. They've had a couple of them. Again, it's a thing. Pickabell's right. That's how you punish people. That's not how you reward them. You don't reward them with immortality. You punish them with it. So, yeah, I think that's absolutely correct. So, all righty. Jean says, Grus Gott, thank you. My mom died of a heart attack. I was supposed to take her shopping for bras. I was in college and studying for finals. So I made a date to take her shopping after my finals. She died the Saturday before my finals. I didn't have a decent bra to put under her dress for the viewing. All these years later, I remember that. Yeah. And that's the hard part, right? I think there's, in this case, Gene, and I think you know this, but maybe I'm saying this for other people watching and listening. The advantage that you had over some other people is you knew that your mom loved you and you had a close relationship because you were planning to go do something together. You had a date with her to go shopping for something, and obviously intimate, which means you had a close relationship with your mom, which is great. That's a good thing. Sadly, you didn't get that final thing to do. And the story you're telling is a tough story, obviously, but it also shows that you actually cared. That you cared how your mom would look. You cared how your mom would feel. And you wanted to finish that thing. And that's an important piece. There are a lot of people who, didn't call their mom when they should have called her mom, or didn't. And people listening right now are probably like, yeah, I wish I'd called my mom. I wish I'd called my dad or my brother or whatever. They're wishing they had. So yeah, that's the hard part. Your mom passed quickly, so she didn't have as much pain. And you had some closure because you knew you were there. And that was a positive thing compared to, obviously you don't lose your mom. Nobody does. But I'm just saying relative to losing somebody. I remember my father died, something I never forget. And this is now for me, geez, 40 some odd years now. My dad passed. I was a kid. When he died with his mouth open, and the staff didn't bother doing anything. So his mouth was open and rigor mortis set in. So when they took him to get him done, they had to break his jaw and glue his mouth shut. And I remember the glue, his lips. Just remember it. So yeah, I know what you mean by that, right? There's something you remember that stuck. I remember the glue in my father's lips. I could see it. When they put him in a casket, I could see the glue in his lips. They had to snap his jaw and glue it shut because of rigor mortis. So yeah, I know a dark piece, but I'll never forget it. I take that to when I go in a grave, right? When my daughter puts me in a box, the last thing I'll be thinking of is, my dad broke his damn jaw. I didn't do that. So yeah, it was bad. His last words were, "Don't worry, baby. I'm strong." He died. My mother told me his last words. She was there when he passed. Never forgot that. I remember my father's last words. My mother told me and I never forgot. So, and that's why his mouth was open, because he was finishing the word strong. He did not finish the word strong, or if he did, it just opened up afterwards when he died. So that was the last words. Dark night, guys. What are you guys doing to me? Give me some good stuff. Give me some nice stuff. Okay, Ryan. Larry, since you love pizza, you need to go to both Shakespeare's and Gumby's in Columbia, Missouri. All right. Now I don't know when I'm going to go to Missouri. I do have some friends in Missouri. I'm looking at my calendar now. Can I find some time to go to Missouri this year? I probably could. I got friends in Missouri. I got friends in Tennessee. I got friends in Georgia. I got friends all over the joint. All right. Missouri's got to be on my list here. I'm just going to put it in my calendar. And where do I got to go? Hold on. Put this down. Shakespeare and Gumby's. All right. When I go, I'll let you guys know if I'm going. You can. And when I go out and do things, like you guys know, if I go out to places and I'm going there, you can come hang out. I don't care. Like, I'm happy to see people. I do it all the time. So yes, if I head to Missouri, I'll let you know. If you want to hang out, that's fine. You can do that. It's all good. So now you're making me do stuff. Morgan's like Waffle House. Waffle House. All right. Anyway, he's like, emergency response to be handled by Waffle House. All I'm saying is, to my point that my saying is, if you want to, if someone is like, Larry, you can't get rid of these things because government and my government, okay, then let's just make it to where it is simply a place to where it's a center for a center repository for information. I can accept that. Like I can get to that level. I'm okay. So yes, Kim says I won't spend money on homes in a place like that. See, she's all rich. Kim didn't say she wasn't that rich. See, Kim's got the cash. She's just savvy. That's why she has all that cash, because she won't spend it in places like that. That's why Kim is loaded. That's the reason. So yes, congrats, Kim. I'm glad you're loaded. That's awesome. So there we go. All righty. Let me grab a couple more of these. Susan says, Australian wrote that housing needs to be built to sustain bushfires. Those are protocols. There are some in California that did that, right? There were some, but not all did. There were some that did that. That's true. Some of the houses do that. So, all righty. Far NorCal says, hi, Larry. Hi. I appreciate that. Adrian says, can a Borg replace creativity, art, and inspiration? Yes. And the issue is when you're in the Borg, right? The concept of that is if you're in the Borg, then you can get it whenever you want it through some type of substance or drug. The reason why, Adrian, we like things like creativity and art and inspiration is because it puts certain drugs in our brain, makes us feel good. Well, if I can just think it and get the drug, then I don't need this stuff. I just want the drug. That is my worry. And I think you see it with a lot of people. You see it already happening. People just going for the drug. They're going for the drug you see all the time, right? The drugs you see all the time. Who cares? I don't need that. I got the drug. The drug does the same thing. I often say when people break a bad habit, whatever that bad habit is, they rarely break the habit. They usually swap it with something else that's more healthy. So I was drinking a lot, getting drunk. I stopped getting drunk. I run. I go to service. I help people. I play video games. I do something other than that, but I still want that feeling. And the Borg provides that feeling for you for free. Well, it does cost you your life, but not for dollars. How about that? So it does, sadly. Sadly, it does. And I think a lot of people will see it and they'll stop because they'll see it. That's the issue. So, Lunatic, thank you for $2, my friend. Tragedy allows survival years later. Also true. That's the old idea that whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That's that concept. Yeah, I do get what you're saying. Yes, I do get what you're saying completely. So, all righty. Gene says, I really like The Expanse. It's one of my favorite recent shows. I probably saw it 5 years ago, maybe or so. I forgot how long ago it was. I saw it a bit ago. Not like last year. Several years ago, I saw it. It had already been out for a while when I saw it. When I saw it, the seasons had already been done, or maybe one was left. So however long ago that was, I could binge watch the entire, like, I think I binge watched the first, I forgot how many seasons. Sake of argument is 5 seasons. I don't remember how many were, but say there are 5 seasons. I could watch like the first 4, and I was watching it when the 5th one was happening, or whatever the last one was that they don't have anymore, but whatever. I was watching it when the last season was coming out. So however long ago that was, I think it's like 5 or 10 years, whatever it was. I don't remember how long it was. So yes. All righty. P says, I tempted Larry with mashed potatoes when he was visiting me. That's true. But I was not mean. Filet mignon and asparagus on a plate. He was good to me. Peace was good to me. It's true. Absolutely. He was absolutely good to me. So yes, he was. And I did not have potatoes. I don't. So yes. It was potatoes, not mashed potatoes. It's correct, but it's fine. Still good. That's correct. Yes. All righty. Let's see here. Andrew says, how weak were the Articles of Confederation, if at all? The problem with the Articles of Confederation was that it was too much of a shift from what humans knew at the time. Could an Articles of Confederation work now? I think it probably could. But then it was, you're looking, Andrew, at a bunch of people who still wanted a king. Like who literally who thought, how can you have a country without a king? Like that's not a thing. Like they didn't even get that. And I'm talking Americans. We're still thinking. There were lots of them who were like, we got to have it. What are you doing? What do you mean, no king? That's not how it works. It's not country. If I don't have a crown to bow down to, how can I possibly have a country? That's kind of what I think a lot of people were thinking. So relative to that time, it was weak because it's relative. Now, I think it's particularly if you were to take that kind of system now, it could probably function in many places. So I think relatively, very weak. Relatively. Now, probably do it. Probably could. Hope that answers you. I hope it's what you wanted to know. Peace over on Rumble. Thank you, my friend, for the $1. No, Larry shows perfect without UFO update. Have you seen the latest photos of UAPs? What do you think is going on, Larry? Aliens, unknown tech by government. Are you an alien, Larry? Give us a wink with the left eye. I am not an alien. Was that my left or my right eye? You can't even tell. Maybe. Anyway, do I think they are actually aliens, like from another planet? I do not. Again, it doesn't matter if they are. I'm not going to change what I do. But you're asking my question. I do not think they're aliens from the planet. If they are actually non-human, if that is true, and I'm not saying this or isn't, I don't know, but if they're non-human, then there is another species on this planet or nearby, like Mars or the moon or something. I don't think that there is any real chance that there are some type of being from another, I don't know, galaxy or something that has visited us. I don't believe that. Now, could it be? Again, if I don't know enough to be definitive. So I'm not saying it's not true. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't believe it. I don't have enough evidence in my mind to say so. But I'm not prepared to say it's not. Sometimes you hear me say, that's not true. That's garbage. It's not real. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I don't believe it, but it might be. Like I don't know enough about it to be able to tell you it's not. My gut says it isn't. Again, I've said this before. The closest planet to us that maybe has life on that we would understand as life, right? That we would understand as life. The closest is 4 light years away. So maybe it's 8 or 10 light years away. So either we can travel faster than the speed of light, in which case Einstein was wrong, which maybe is true. But assuming that we cannot and that he was correct and we can't, that means you have a group of people or beings that can travel somewhere near the speed of light and have a lifespan that doesn't mind 10 years or whatever it takes if they can't travel as fast as speed of light. What if they can only travel half as speed of light, and it takes them 20 years to get here and 20 years to get back? And they're like, whatevs, right? They don't mind. That group of people or beings would be so powerful to us, it would not be like the Spaniards landing in Hispaniola against the natives. It would be like you going in your backyard and fighting ants. And we're the ants. So, I mean, that amount of technological advancement would be, we would have no chance against them whatsoever. None, zero. There's zero chance. There's no, Independence Day where Will Smith comes to save the day. That's not happening. We're done. That is finished. And what that would mean, though, is they probably wouldn't want to destroy us. Like you would think that, again, talking about the same idea about the evil. Do you go outside and kill all of the ants in the world? No. Would you kill an anthill that was in your way? Yes. So if these people or beings want something, whatever value there'd be in our planet, I don't know what value they would have. What is it? Whatever. They want gold or whatever. I don't know what's valuable to them. Whatever is the thing that's valuable, they would come take it. If we got in the way, crush us if we got in the way. Otherwise, ignore us as you would ignore an ant if you were going outside to have a picnic. The ants didn't come onto your thing. You don't care. They do. You crush them. If they come onto your thing, you leave them alone. They don't care about us. They just go get what they want and leave. Now, is that possible? Yes. I don't think it's going to happen. Now, the other thing is people are saying the newest words from that is that these UAPs like go through the ground and such, that kind of thing. So if that's true, there are two options. One, they are from some other distant place and there's something underground that they want, whatever that thing is. Maybe they want magma. I don't know, whatever they want, right? So they go down, get whatever they want, and they leave. They don't care about us. We can't stop them. We're just ants. And they want the thing, whatever the thing is. They go get it and they leave. Or they live down there. And they just come up and say hi or whatever. So, yeah, I don't think it is our government because we would have used it already. Like if we actually had this stuff, we'd have used it already. We already used it. No doubt. No doubt. We'd have used it. We'd have already used it on China or Russia, already used it. There's no way that Obama would have had something like this and not used it. Bush, guaranteed Bush would have used it. Guaranteed. Trump, guaranteed to use it. Biden wouldn't know, so they probably wouldn't tell him. So not Biden. Biden, I think, would not use it because they wouldn't tell him. But the other three, 100% would have used it. 100% would have used it. No doubt. So that's why I don't think it's American. And if it was Chinese or Russian, they'd absolutely use it too. Putin, guaranteed they would have used it. Guaranteed. So that's why I don't think it's any of that. So I hope I answered your question. So, and if I was the alien, I wouldn't tell you. So doesn't matter. So anyway, all righty. See if I can go grab a couple more of these. Many of these, I do appreciate all the stuff you guys are popping up here. So Far NorCal says, I'm just joining in. I was watching Trump meeting with the California politicians, including a local representative, Lal Malfa. Newsom was nowhere to be found. Shocker, Trump was great. Now, I was talking about that. Yes. Yeah. Kate says, I do have a question. Do libertarians support government money for local animal care / control? The problem with a libertarian question like that, just so you're aware, is libertarians are in many cases very much like Democrats, Republicans. We're broad. The question is, would you support it, again, in theory versus in practice? In theory, a libertarian would not want any government money to be given out for something like that, in theory. In practice, many libertarians would be fine, but you'd want to support something local that would take care of the animals. The problem is, once you have government taking care of animals, what winds up happening? They go into a system and they start getting slaughtered, which is what you see, right? Many of them are kill shelters. You see that, right? The best ways of taking care of animals tend to be with local people who are in private nonprofits. So what we'd always prefer is to have a private nonprofit support structure for that will be a better way of doing it. But the option is, and right now, depending on where you live, in certain areas, the option is government or nothing. We'll take government. That's the only option. But if you have an option of a private sector, a community sector, you would always take that over government. The thing to remember for what libertarian theory is about, and for any of you who care about libertarianism and do want to learn something about it, here is, I think, the best book for you to start to read. Best one, in my view. If you like government, like you're into that world of government, read The Law by Frederick Bastiat. It's a short book. You can read it in a weekend easily. It's a very short book. And it's actually written from 50s, 40s. France, I think 1850s, 1800s for sure. And one of the things he says, which is an important piece, is just because I don't want government to do it doesn't mean I don't want it done. And that is one of the hardest things we deal with in America right now. If you say, I want to abolish the Department of Education, what, do you hate kids? Because the image is the only way you can educate children is through government. But wait a minute. The wealthiest people, do they go to government schools? They don't, do they? The wealthiest kids don't go to government schools. The poorest go to government schools. That's what they want. And they fool people like, you can't get educated without government schools, but the wealthiest kids don't go to government schools. So, yeah, that doesn't really work, right? So, again, do I want schools? Of course. Do I want government schools? No. If I have no option, will I take government schools? I'll take them. I got nothing else. But I'd rather have a lot more options. Why? Wealthy people have that. The common denominator you see with me and other libertarians, even other Democrats, Republicans, I'm not trying to punish the rich. I'm trying to reward people who aren't rich. I don't want to try to bring the rich down. You can't. They're rich. They're wealthy. They're powerful. It's not going to work. It's a fantasy, right? It doesn't work, right? That's not how it works. But can I make it to where people who aren't rich get some of the similar services? Yeah, that's what I want. I want everyone to be able to have private schools. Now, if your public schools are good and you're happy with them, awesome. If you're not, you should be able to go to private school. Why? Wealthy people can. If they happen to live in a great neighborhood with a great school, they'll send their kid to that school. If not, private school. If you're super wealthy, you go to private school anyway. Doesn't matter, because you want your kid with the rich kids, not with the poor's. That's how you think of things. I don't mean to be mean. I'm just being very forward. Ryan says, thank you for the $5, my friend. When I took my mom to the hospital, the idiot ER doc, who took the initial look at her, told me, wow, your mom is sick. My mom died a week later. Wow, that is a terrible story, Ryan. It's a terrible story. Wow. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, there again, maybe I'm being glass half full here. Maybe I am optimistic, so guilty as charged. You had a similar situation, similar in one way, to Gene's situation. You took your mom to the ER. Your mom knew that you loved her. It was clear that she loved you, and you took her. You did have that time together, and there was no, I'm mad at you, mom, whatever, yelling, screaming, right? It was okay. I mean, I'm sure you had your issue with your mom. We all have issues with our family. I'm sure you were mad at one point. She's mad at you, whatever. That's because family. Got it, right? But when she was in trouble, you clearly showed up and brought her to the ER. So whatever time you were mad at each other, whenever that happened, clearly she understood what was going on. So I'm sorry for your loss. I'm glad you at least had that. So that was nice. So, Paula says, Larry, you get things done. LP ought to listen to you. I agree, Paula. Yes, I agree. Yes. Duke says, can't negotiate with death. It will come when it's ready, not when you're ready. True. That's how fate works. I always say when fate decides to punch you, you getting punched. question is, how do you deal with this, right? How do you handle that, right? How do you handle that issue? And that's the question. So anyway, I hope I answered your question, Kate. I know I went a little bit down the road, but I know I often go down long roads. I hope it at least makes sense. So yeah. Adrian says, I get it. The day my mom dropped me off, she was driving and couldn't give me a hug. Over 45 years ago, I still feel the missing of that hug. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Pinky Bell says, come to Texas. We aren't known for pizza, but brisket is keto approved, right? It is. And I remember, I'm going to give you a good story about Texas, Pinky Bell. I'd never had real Tex-Mex before. This is probably, 25 years ago, maybe 30 years ago. My first time having actual Tex-Mex. So I went there and I had some Tex-Mex, loved it. I didn't know it was different. I didn't know it was different than just New York Mexican food. I didn't know. I thought it was the same. It's just like Mexican stuff, right? Tex-Mex is delicious, number one. And I wasn't keto then, so I didn't care. But the second thing is I also had a pepper eating contest, which I'd never done before. So that was interesting. And the reason why I say that was interesting is I learned how you eat peppers in a pepper eating contest. I always thought you'd pepper and then water. Boy, did I learn that's not the right answer. I'm telling you what the right answer is. Those who know, I'm not going to tell you. But that's not what you do. I learned that, Pinky Bell, the hard way. That is not what you do, by the way. You don't have the pepper and drink water. So I did learn. So I had more than one. I got slaughtered my first pepper eating contest. It wasn't even close. Like it's like four of us. I was last out first. It was embarrassing. Did not know. Here's some New Yorker thinking, I'm gonna come to Texas, teach you guys. That was stupid. But I did that. I was young and thought I knew everything. What are you gonna do? I learned that lesson the hard way. But next time, I didn't win, but I actually came in second next time. So I did pretty good after that. I did learn my lesson. I do like Texas very much. Last time I was in Texas, I was in Austin, but I actually like Dallas a lot. Used to like Houston. Not so much anymore. Houston to me has changed since I was there first. First time I was in Houston was the 90s. I kind of liked Houston then. After that, it's not bad, but not great. I'd rather be in Dallas. What I remember I thought was interesting about Dallas was that Dallas is like downtown area or city area, so different from New York. New York City is built up everywhere. Like it's all built up. And it's almost like a pyramid in a way how it gets bigger to where it goes towards Manhattan, right? Like Queens is big and then Manhattan's bigger and right like that. And then Long Island gets smaller, right? But it's like that. Dallas, when I was there last, was probably 10 years ago, maybe. It's basically flat and then Dallas City. And then flat again. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I'd never seen that before, me being my New Yorker that I am. So anyway, Paul asked, how long before Trump and Elon break up? About 2 years. About 2 years. 2026. That's when it happens. So hope I answered your question. Let's see here. If I can go here. I'm now over to I'm heading to Rumble. As a serious ask and the question, most of us are experiencing mental illness. Hold on, I'm just gonna find this here. Where's this one? I say get more sun, exercise, meditate. What's your go to cleanse the mind? All right. There was a recent video interview I saw. I don't remember who it was. I don't remember who it was. But she was talking about keto again. Larry, you and your goddamn keto. Because keto's magic. It is. And there's a second piece. Keto, not only is keto magic, but fasting is magic. My cleanse, my mind or my body is the same. A 2 or 3 day fast. I just did a 3 day fast. I literally, last weekend, I ate Friday evening. I didn't eat again until Monday evening. 3 days, no eating. And yes, clears everything out, mind and body. So fasting is amazing. Keto is amazing. And I do my best to do a minimum of a half an hour on a treadmill every day. I don't always do that, but I go out of my way. Now, if I can go out and do more, walk and or run or something else, my go-to piece is not heavyweight lifting. You can see I'm not hugely built. I don't have massive muscles. It's not who I am. I never have been, never wanted to be. I've always cared about endurance. That's always been my issue. I've always been concerned about that. And I can still run a 5K now. I am 56 years old and I can still run a 5K. And most people my age were going to struggle to do that. I've always about endurance more than anything else. I've never tried to be a big, strong guy and been my thing. I've always thought endurance is the big issue. That's what I've always talked about. So mine is exercise for endurance. That's mine. You asked mine. I'm not saying you should. This is not advice to anybody. You asked for mine. Mine is endurance exercise, number one, fasting, number two, and I try to fast if I can every quarter. Again, don't always do it. I wish I could do it more. I could do it. I don't. I've a lot of stuff I'm doing. So I try to fast every quarter. I did last quarter. I fasted for 2 days. This quarter I fasted for 3. I will try to fast again next quarter for 2 or 3 days. I'll do it again. So fasting for me is my go-to. I always say discipline is a muscle. If you don't exercise it, it will atrophy. So fasting also helps with your discipline. And if you believe you're disciplined, you are disciplined. If you believe you're not disciplined, you're not disciplined. That's how that works. I believe I'm disciplined. Why? I keep showing myself that I am. So I believe I am. Therefore, I'm disciplined because I believe I am. And I think you are the same way. Anyone is the same way in my view. So I think that's what I do. I used to meditate many years ago to help my daughter out. My daughter likes meditating. So I trained her to do it. I think I told some of you I used to be in Taekwondo. I was a red belt in Taekwondo and I learned how to meditate there. So I taught her, but I don't really do it much. Meditation is not my thing. I don't mind it. So yes, I do like sunlight too, but I don't get enough of it. I don't. I spend a lot of time indoors. I do. I am guilty of that piece. I wish if I'm going to work on anything, it's going to be spending more time outside. And I was thinking about that actually, when I was. So actually thinking, because I just talk trash about how I can run a 5K. That's because I can do it on a treadmill. So I'm going to schedule probably in March or April when it's a bit warmer here to run a 5K outdoors because that'll get me outdoors more. I need to be spending more time outdoors and I don't spend enough time outdoors. Only time I spend time outdoors is when I'm actually traveling. Then good. But if not traveling, I don't. So yes. Triden says, sunshine is magic also. 3-day fast is magic, clears the skin. That's why I was so young looking. That's why I'm so hot. That's why I told Peace I was a hottie. That's because of the fasting, Peace. So you're wondering, why are you so hot, Larry? Because fast. That's the reason. Straight Ed knows it. He got the answers. He's good. So anyway, hope that makes sense and answers your question. I do appreciate it. All righty. Let's see here. I will grab some more. Paula says, jarheads aren't aliens per se, but they do come from another dimension. Also true. Yes. Yes. Phil says, do you prefer open corruption like in some Caribbean islands or pretending we don't have corruption in the US? If I have an option, I always prefer transparency. And the reason is if people know it's a certain way, at least we can react, Phil, and not get in trouble, right? So if I know that this part's corrupt and I got to pay this guy off and pay that guy off and pay this guy off, then at least I know what to do so I don't get trapped. Okay, I can't open my business. Why? I don't have enough money to bribe these guys. Got it. Okay, let me go away so I can find the money or go someplace else. If I understand the system, even if it's corrupt, I would rather have clear and understandable rules, even if they're unfair or bad, than not know and walk into just garbage. And all of a sudden I'm in jail. All of a sudden I've lost my money. So if I have a choice and my own 2 choices, let it be open. Let it be open, right? It's why the Chinese did so well in parts of Africa. There are many parts of Africa that have been broken and busted up because of corrupt colonialism, and they kept a lot of that. And they're like, yeah, you can build a thing, but you got to pay us off. And America has often said, well, we don't do business with warlords or we won't deal with corruption. They go, okay, bye. Oh, we don't care. Like, we don't care. We're corrupt. We know it, and we don't care. Chinese went, oh, you're corrupt? Us too. That's great. Okay, so who do I bribe? I bribe this guy. Okay, how much? Okay, great. And with that guy? Oh, okay, good. And then this guy, okay, good. Can I build now? Oh, great. I'm going to go build. So, yeah, it's better if it's open. The Chinese are like, okay, just tell us who to bribe. No. Bribe that guy, and that guy. Okay, how much? This percent, that percent. Okay, good. And I get to build? Yeah. Done. That's how it worked. And we were like, no, we are righteous, which is a joke. Because again, we're pretending like we're not corrupt. Stop. So, yeah, stop. Anyway. All righty. Let's see if I can go here. All right. Okay. Let me go down here. Morgan says, ever heard of bullet ants? They carry a strong bite. Yeah, but I could still kill them. Like we have like drugs and stuff and, insecticides and such. You can trash them. That you can do. So yeah, that if you want to. I mean, there's always that. So yeah. Ryan says, Larry, precious metals and Bitcoin together are far superior to fiat money. True. 100%. No doubt. Yes, absolutely. Paula says, are the Obamas heading for divorce? I hope not. I don't know why the rumors made me sad. They seem like a legit couple. It's funny. When I'm obviously not a fan of Obama, obviously. However, I don't want his marriage to fail. I wouldn't want that. I don't want his marriage to fail. I hope his marriage lasts as long as he wants it to last. I hope it lasts forever. I agree with you. I don't want his marriage to fail. Why would I want that? He's got 2 kids. I hope they're able to stay together. I hope him and his wife, they seem to love each other. It seems like a real marriage. I mean, obviously I don't know them personally at all. I've actually never met Obama or his wife. Never met either of them. So I don't know them at all. But it seems like they love each other. They seem to be close. I hope they don't get divorced. That would be terrible. And I'm not being facetious. I don't have bad will towards the guy. I hope he can keep his family together, and I hope he can keep his kids together. I think it'd be amazing. I would like it to, absolutely. So anyway, let me keep going down this road. All right. So I go down here. Jean says, thank you for talking about my comment concerning my mom. It helped me to stop crying. Oh, thank you, Jean. I appreciate that. And Jean's met me before. She's out of Philly, not Philly, out of Pennsylvania. Sorry. And we've met before. And as I said, I meet many of you. If I'm out, I let you know where I'm going. You come in, we can have a chat and talk. And Jean's wonderful. So I appreciate that. Absolutely. So, all righty. Let's see here. Kate says, I have a little unallocated money in my 401k. What do I gamble on at the Boomer Casino? It's actually good. I've said it before. If you're gonna roll the dice, I still think cryptocurrency is a great gamble. Now, it's a gamble. I'll be clear. It is a gamble, right? It's a gamble. But for someone who doesn't have a bunch of money who can buy a building or something, if you're prepared to gamble, again, you said gamble, so I'm saying gamble. I don't think you can get a better gamble for the average person in cryptocurrency. It's the best gamble there is. Again, gamble. You may lose everything, but you have a shot at getting 10 times, 20 times, 100 times. You have a shot at it. So if you're prepared to gamble, knowing you may lose all your money, I'm a big proponent. Try cryptocurrency. Again, gamble. Be very clear what I just said. It's a gamble. But if you're okay with it, it's your money. You want to go to the casino? Go ahead. You want to go cryptocurrency? That's where I would go. I threw some money in a couple cryptocurrencies before. Didn't do very well, but I've done it before. So I'm not just saying it. I've done it too. So Paula says 1850 was when the law was written. I thought it was 1815. There we go. Yes. So it's 1850s France. Thank you for that. I thought it was 1850. Yeah. So, all right. So yeah, I hope that was clear. Pinkerbell says Tex-Mex is so good. It is good. You're not wrong. It's delicious. 100%. And again, it's so funny how ignorant I was. I actually thought that it's just Mexican food. I honestly, Pinkerbell, I actually thought that. Like that was where my head was. Yeah, it's Mexican. It's just like Mexican food in Texas. You make the same as my Mexican restaurant here in the Bronx. Nope. So Ryan says Tex-Mex is freaking awesome. It is. Yes. Morgan says milk, never water. Actually, something else. Not just that. But yes, but more than that. Yes. So, all right. Pinkerbell says, I avoid Dallas, but everywhere around is better. Live there for 6. Oh, you actually live there. Okay, I didn't realize that. There we go. Kim said, how the other end feel the next day after pepper context? The funny thing is, my stomach bothered me tremendously that night. If you've ever had like that, my stomach bothered me tremendously that night. I had a lot of stomach issues. But my elimination was fine. It was fast, but it was fine. Yes, it was fast, but it was fine. I actually like very spicy food. I have in a bath. Not so much now. Since my keto days, I think my enjoyment of spicy food has actually gone down, which you think it wouldn't be, but it has. She really likes spicy food. Like again, I had a jalapeno pepper eating contest. I used to like spicy food a lot. Now I don't that much. I still can. Like when I would have like any kind of Mexican food, tacos or whatever, I'd go to a Mexican restaurant, whatever the case may be. I would always say, "Can I get the spicy sauce in the back, either green or the orange one?" For those who don't know, in any Mexican restaurant, again, there are a lot of Mexican restaurants here in New York City. People who are actually Mexican, obviously. And if you go to a Mexican restaurant, whatever like salsa, whatever they put out there, whatever sauce they put out, hot sauce they put out there, whatever they put out, that's the ketchup, right? That's the ketchup. I go, no, I don't want that one. I want the one in the back. And the one in the back, depending upon where you go, is either green or orange, depending upon where you are, right? And I want the one that's green or orange. So I ask for that one, and that one comes in. And I always tell who I'm with, when I'm eating, if I'm not crying, it's not good enough. Like if there's that snot pouring out of my nose, it's garbage. Like I need it to be that hot. That's how hot I like it. When I go eat Japanese food, I need the spiciest wasabi they got. If I'm not crying, it's not good enough. Like I need to be tearing. Then okay, now we got some wasabi. Now we're serious. Now we're serious. Okay, I thought you don't give me this. Don't give me no. I'm not looking for guac. I want some wasabi. Okay, that's how I am. So yes, for some reason I don't know. Maybe it's my dad used to love hot sauce, but I don't know. Anyway, let me walk down that road if I could. Paula says, "I'm sure many can relate, but I still go to call my mom 11 years after she passed. Government can never take the place of two parents who love you." 100% true. I had both. Stop punishing parents in family court. Yes. What was the issue that led you to being so committed to taking on the family court abuse, Larry? It wasn't me. And this is the funny part. And what I mean by that is people often ask me, "Larry, what's your situation? What happened when you were in family court?" I'm like, I didn't do that. I didn't get divorced anymore. It didn't happen to me. I don't know. Like, what? I thought, you got, no, it didn't happen to me. No. So then I get this question, Paula, often. And what actually happened was when I was running for governor in 2018, I was running a real grassroots campaign. See what I mean by that? I mean, I was going to every single small town and meeting people and doing what I do now. Now, what I do with you guys almost every night here, I was doing in person across New York State. I did like 300 events across the state. I met people everywhere. And people saw that I was actually listening. I would be at an event for an hour and a half and just take questions. Just take them live. Any question, comment, like I do now. Like I would do AMAs live all the time. So I'm good at it because I've been doing it for literally 7 years. So I would just do it, and people would ask me questions. And one guy came. He was just desperate. He was just desperate. Had been arrested, lost his kids, and he just told me the story. And I was like, wow, that sounds terrible. I'd look into that because I didn't know, to be forward, I did not know this was a problem. In 2017, I did not know it was a problem. I was ignorant. And I tell people this all the time. They're like, "Larry, so you actually researched it?" Yes, I had a team. I had a policy team. We met at least once a week, if not twice. They would meet an hour or two before I met. So they'd talk and get the details of stuff, have an idea for me when I would meet with them. And then we'd take another 2 hours where I would massage the policy. If I couldn't get to where I wanted to, we'd meet next week until we could massage the policy. So I heard this story and I was like, okay, well, I'll talk about it, whatever. But it wasn't my priority because I thought it was just one dude. And not that I was dismissing the dude, but I had a bazillion issues happening. So I couldn't make every guy's problem the number one problem, right? And I only have one team in the amount of time. I couldn't take on every single issue, right? There's just no way. But then this guy like brought a friend or something like the day after or whatever, right? Another guy. Then all of a sudden, another guy shows up. And over the course of about maybe 3 weeks, maybe, I don't remember exactly, but somewhere in that area, it's kind of where my mind is, 2 or 3 weeks, I must have had 8 different men come to me in different parts of New York State, in different events, and tell me the same or similar story. And when that happened, I realized this is real. to be forward with you, Paula, and I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm just being very honest and forward with everybody. When I first heard the guy tell me the story, I thought he was full of it. I thought there's no way our system's that bad. He's a bad dad, and he got screwed because he deserved it. And it hurts me to say that now. It does bother me. Like I'm bothered saying that because that guy did not deserve that. But I felt it. And I'm bothered by it because that guy didn't deserve that. But I did think that. And I feel terrible that I felt that. But I did. I felt like, hey, he's probably a bad guy. Deserved it. That's what I felt. I know it's terrible. I hate it. Bothers me to think it. But I did. Paula, that's what I thought. But then the second time the guy tells me, a different guy. Then a third guy tells me something. Then a fourth guy. And I'm like, these guys can't all be bad guys. That's not how life works. That's impossible. They're all bad. No. So I took the next week, went to my team. Guys, stop what we're doing. We're not doing this thing. We're doing family court. Like, what are you talking about? I think it's a problem. Here's what I heard. Boom, 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 boom. Let's walk down this road. Next week, I go to my team and they're like, Larry, this is a disaster. Like, this is terrible. I'm like, what? Yes. Oh my God. This. And the advantage of libertarians, some of you don't know this. The advantage of libertarians is there's a lot of libertarians who are like what I call rules lawyers. They love reading the law and hate it now because they can't stand the law. So if you get a good policy team together, you get 4 or 5 libertarians who love reading the law, they will research everything. And I mean everything. And so they literally were like going through I think I know all this stuff because you think I read all this stuff? No, they did. They read all the things. Then I went down and said, well, what about this? How about that? Now I came up with policy issues that came with, but they were like, can't do that because of this. Can't do that because of this. That's against the law. And then the next week, they're like, okay, you wanted this? Next week, come back. That doesn't work. This doesn't work. That's how you build out policy. Most people don't know that because most people, I'm not going to say most, almost all people who are running now don't have policy. They don't have policy teams. What do you mean, Larry? They don't need policy teams. They have communications teams. There's no policy. Think about a policy somebody has. They have policies. Why do you think Kathy Hochul's team watches this show and listens to my radio show? I'm not joking. And reads my website because they want policy. So they take my stuff. That's why you have think tanks. That's why you have, PACs that create policy. They don't create them anymore. I do. I want to know my policy. I want to get it. That's how I can talk through it all the time. I can talk through my policies because I created them. So of course I can talk through them. And it's funny, people think all the time, constantly, we're worried about this. And they think they get me because they think I read the policy off some website somewhere. I'm like, dude, I made the policy. You're not going to get me on this. And they always think they will. I'm like, nah, I thought of that too. Been through that. So then the policy came out. Then when I started talking about the policies, how to fix family court, every single time I would go someplace, there'd be at least 2-3 guys who'd be like, man, we heard your policy is so good. And then they kept following me. Now, I'm going to tell you why I was disappointed, Paula. This part was disappointing for me. When 2018 election day came, most of those men abandoned me. That's true. Most did. And why? Because they still, even with their issues, fell back to the Democrat-Republican duopoly. They still did. There are at least 1 million men who have been wrecked by New York State family court. At least. I didn't get many votes. I didn't get it. And afterwards, they were, oh, Larry, I thought maybe this could happen. And I thought, so the guy who was the only guy who gave a shit about you, and the only guy who had a plan to fix it, and the only guy who was advocate for you, you still fell back. Well, you don't understand. No, I understand. Go. That's how I felt. Go. Go back. No, go. Go back to the guy who's ashamed of you. You might go, ashamed? Yes. Why do you think I'm the only guy who supports fathers broken in family courts? Because they're bad constituents. It's true. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm being truthful. When it comes to constituents, they're bad. They're bad for 3 reasons. Number 1, they don't have any money. Their money all went to their family or to the lawyers. It's true. So they're not good for cash. So not good. Now, most politicians want cash, Not good constituency. I want to do the right thing, Paula, so I didn't care. So I backed them anyway. The second problem is, if you support fathers' rights, how many times I've been called, oh, you're a ist or a phobe because you support men's rights, or I hate women or whatever. You get that. That's part of the game. You get that. I knew that. I didn't care. They don't want that. That's the end of them. I didn't care. I'll take it. I don't care. It's right. I care. So they're bad constituents. And clearly, they don't vote for you if you're independent. They go back to their old ways, even though you're the only guy supporting them. And you might go, Larry, why didn't you abandon them? There was a part of me that wanted to, Paula. I'm just being very forward again. Was there a part of me that was like, these guys don't want to vote for me? To hell with them. Of course, there was a part of me that thought that. But I didn't. Because it's the right thing to do. It's still the right thing to do. The things I was saying, I meant. So, yes, I still support them. Even though I'm not really one of them, if that makes any sense. I don't have that story like many of them do. And at the same time, it's still a problem that has to be fixed. So even though they abandoned me when I needed them most, I was still with them. Anyway, I know I went long. I hope I answered your question at least. So I always I want to make sure I'm answering the question. So yes. Morgan says 10,000 steps a day. I do average 10,000 steps a day. That's my average. Sometimes I go higher. How do I know? This thing on my arm that you see is not a watch. It is a Whoop. WHOOP, Whoop. And it keeps track of everything. It keeps track of my calories, hours I sleep, REM sleep, keeps track of my steps, all those things, stress level, everything. And I still have to work on my sleep. My problem is sleep. I do not do as well as I could on sleep. I got to work on that. So yes. Anyway, so yes, I do 10,000 steps. I average 10,000 steps a day. I sometimes get less. Sometimes I'm so busy I can't do the steps. I sometimes can't. The advantage I have in New York City is I can walk everywhere. So I walk to my dentist. I walk to my accountant. I walk to a restaurant. I walk to every place. Everything's walkable. So I do a lot of walking. So I do average about 10,000. So yes, that does help tremendously. Picklebell says sunlight makes all the difference. I know. I got to spend more time doing it. I know. You're right. I got to work on better sleep and more sunlight. Those are my things I still have to work on. I'm not there yet. So yeah. Excuse me. Let me grab down here if I could. Excuse me. Phil says, if the Clintons can stay together, anyone can. Yeah, but that may be of convenience is all I'm saying. That might be. I don't know. Over on Rumble, looking at straight N, many people think your vote is wasted if you vote third party. Yeah, I know. Boy, do I know that. I wish that wasn't true. But damn, it's just so right. Yeah, absolutely true. Yes. So Gene says, what is fiat money? Fiat money, no, Morgan says paper money. That's not true. Paper money does not have to be fiat money. Fiat money is money that has nothing backing it. It is valuable because I say it's valuable. That's fiat money, right? If it's backed by, say, gold or silver, that's not fiat money. It could be paper. If the paper, and there was a time when if you had $1, you could trade that in for a certain amount of hard currencies. You could take the money, the dollar, and say, hey, bank or government, I forgot what it was, half an ounce of silver or whatever it was. I don't remember what it was, whatever, that. And you could actually get it. It represented something. That's not fiat money. That's real money, right? Fiat is, it's valuable because I say so, which is what our dollars are. In other words, our dollar doesn't mean anything except that we say it means something. You might go, well, Larry, it doesn't make any sense. What? Yes, that's it. The dollar is valuable because we say it's valuable. Everyone goes, it's valuable. Is it valuable? Yes, it's valuable. So it's valuable. Yes, because we all agree it's valuable. That's the reason. That's fiat money. That's the reason. But what's behind our dollar? I don't know. Guns, bombs? I don't know. That. But that's what fiat money is. So, yeah. Alrighty. Dean says, always a wonderful show. What is more potential? Is it X or Rumble in terms of reach? Free speech. Potential is Rumble. Currently is X. But Rumble has potential more than X does. Because Rumble is a YouTube knockoff I don't mean to be mean to Rumble, but I'm just being very forward. It isn't as versatile as YouTube is, but it has the ability to become that. X really doesn't. Rumble can become a better YouTube. It has the opportunity to become so. Rumble has far more potential. Right now, though, it's still X at this moment. So yes. All right. Is fiat money over? Not even close. Gene says it's backed by ammo. Correct. Yes. And yes, it is correct. Yes, absolutely. That's 100% true. Guys, I'm going to ask you something if you don't mind. Please click the button known as like. I haven't bugged you in a bit. Please do so. If you haven't shared this or reposted someplace, please do so. It does matter. Every time you share it, every time you hit the like button, another chance for someone else to see this, to hear it, to watch it. Please do so. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It does matter tremendously. Every subscription matters. Please do that. It does matter. Please do so. I appreciate all of the super chats. They're amazing. If you become a member, please do so on YouTube. Click the join button on YouTube, $49 per month. If you want to become a member on Rumble, you can click subscribe only during the live. Otherwise, you can't do it. It has to be during the live. That's Rumble. Again, Rumble, it has potential to become a better YouTube. Right now, it isn't, but it has the most potential, hands down. If we're able to get Rumble up and running to where they can get enough cash and make some changes, they can be a better YouTube. No doubt that can happen. They have the most potential, 100%. So I hope that was clear in that concept. So, all righty. If I can grab some of these. AC says fiat is because I say so. Correct. That's accurate. Yes, absolutely. Phil says the Obama brand's worth billions. A divorce would threaten that. I mean, Bezos got divorced? No. Yeah. No, it doesn't matter. Yep. Phil says, whoop, there it is. True. Absolutely true. Yes, absolutely. I don't think it's a problem at all. I happen to like it. So yes. Joel says the New York State Corrections Office needs Larry Sharpe. True. My father was one of them. My father worked at Rikers Island. Absolutely. 100%. Robert says I voted for Larry Sharpe and will again. Thank you, my friend. I do appreciate that. I need a couple million more of you. That's all I require. A couple million more of you is all I require. That was it. All righty. I think I got that down. I think I've covered most of these up to that point. All right, let me grab a couple more of these if I could. All right. Robert says there are caucuses in every political party and local chapters used to debate your positions, often to convince other members to change caucuses. I'm going to tell you, you're bringing up the other question, right? That Paula brought up, which is a broad question. How do you get your local LP chapter to develop specific plans like yours? I brought up something similar to this was it yesterday, maybe, the day before yesterday? Here's the thing to remember. The problem is most LP chapters, I used to do a class on this, how to have LP chapters run well. I probably should do it again. People don't ever listen to me. I tell them to do, they don't listen. The number one issue is, as I mentioned yesterday, someone's a political party. Mission first, right? Mission matters. The plans don't matter if you don't have a mission. So the problem is most people who take over the chapter, like, I'm the chair. Okay, great. You walk and go, my mission here in the chair is blah, 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 and nobody cares. Instead, every chapter is going to have a couple of diehards who show up like every month or whatever, every week or whatever your meetings are. And when they show up, you want to ask them a very important question. And it's going to be hard for people who show up. What do we want to achieve this quarter or this year or this 6 months? Whatever, you pick the time frame. What do we want to achieve this year? And they'll just start going off and saying stupid shit. And no. I mean real. What do you want to achieve this year? Like, do we want to change a law? Do we want to challenge the mayor? Do we want to, get someone like the city council? What do we want to do? What do we want to achieve? Do we want to get a commercial on the radio station? Right? What? Do we want to get a commercial on our morning show? And whatever. Say things like that until they start going, Dad, let's do that. Didn't we get a commercial? Yeah. Okay, what are we going to push? I can't stand that, whatever new fine they have on so-and-so. We should get a commercial on the local morning show talking about how bad this new law on so-and-so is. Everyone goes, yeah, that's great. Now plans. No plans until you have the mission. You want your local LP to do something? create a mission. And then once you have that mission, now start grabbing other people who are single issue people. What does that mean? Well, let's say you have, again, I'm making this up. You want to get a commercial in your local morning show to say how bad a new law on motorcycles is. I don't think I'm making it up, right? Great. There's a bunch of people who own motorcycles who will back you on that law, but they're not libertarian. I don't care. And that's where you have to put your other people in check, because they're going to be like, they can't come here. They're not one of us. And you're going to be like, I have an idea. You could shut up or you could leave. You could do that too. It's another option you can take. You don't have to, but you could. What do you mean? I'm libertarian. I know, but this is going to get our mission done. Do you care about the mission or do you care about virtue signaling? I'd rather virtue signal. Then you can leave, because you can virtue signal on Twitter, on Facebook, any place else, go virtue signal. We want to get something done. That means we have to have allies for this. We'll take them, but they can't stay. They probably won't, but some of them might. So now I get 4 people who care about this motorcycle thing. 3 of them are not anyone in libertarian, but they help us for this. We get the add-on, they leave. But one was libertarian, and that one stays. And I have another guy who stays, a gal who stays. They did something. I built up my team. And the other guys who are mad about virtue signaling come back and go, okay, I was wrong. Can I come back? Yes, you may. What's the next thing we're going to do? The next thing is we're going to do this thing. Great. Rinse and repeat. That is how you do it. Now, once you're having some of that, what happens? All of a sudden, you will see people want to run for office because you guys get things done. That's the way. That Liberty says, our local Duval affiliate went around Jackson potholes. Bingo. Mission. Yes. Always mission first. That's the key. Mission first, mission first, mission first. That's key. Guys, I want to say thank you so much for being with me this evening. I appreciate the AMA. I'm sorry I was so damn late today. I was so crazy busy. I probably will not be doing any shows this weekend. I'm working on a specific client, and that may end next week. So I may be able to spend more time next week, putting more time on, but I will put some, absolutely. I will put some on next week, but I probably won't be doing any more this weekend. Guys, give me one small favor. Once it's over, put any weird question you were thinking about in the chat, and I'll probably answer it, or I'll tease you, one or the other. But please do that. It would be great. You know who loves that? Mr. Rhythm, Al Gore, that guy. I will see you all very soon.